Hi everybody, my name is Ida and today I'm gonna tell you the very exciting story about why I left Korea.
Yay!
Yay! So when I first signed with my company, the deal was 2.5 years because I did want to go back to Sweden and finish school and stuff, get an education. Stuff that people do when they're adults. Originally, I was gonna go back to Sweden next summer, around June? Around June, I guess. But here I am, so clearly that didn't work out. So what happened was this summer I was in Sweden and I would have to renew my visa in August because the visa I was on, which was an E6, you don't actually have to leave the country to renew it. You can just kind of go to an office in Korea and be like, hey, I'm still gonna be working, this is my contract, and they will give you another year. So yeah, I was gonna do that. And while I was in Sweden, I found out that my company was shutting down. Yay! The way that all worked out was that when I got back to Korea, I had 2 weeks to find a new company to sponsor my visa because my visa would expire in early August. When I landed in Korea, I had 2 weeks. I mean, basically 10 days because I arrived on a Friday and then during the weekend, paperwork doesn't really happen. So, yeah. So like I was saying, I had 2 weeks to find a new company and sign with them and get all of my paperwork in check so I could move my visa to the new company and then extend the new visa with the new company. 10 days, 10 working days. Cool. Somehow I did manage to find a company. Lucky me. Y'all know who Carson is. She was going into a company and they offered to take me as well. So that worked out. Or so I thought. This is not the end of the video. There's a lot left. Suddenly they changed their mind about the whole taking me in situation because the way the visas work in Korea is that if you are a foreigner, I guess you can't be responsible and take care of yourself. At least on the entertainment visa, the E6, whoever sponsors your visa, they kind of, in a weird way, become your legal guardian. So if I were to sign with this company, the owner of that company is basically my parent. So if I break a law, they go to jail. Doesn't really sound like a good deal, does it? So when they figured this out, of course, they were like, wait, no, that sounds scary. We don't want to do that. So now I had 1 week to find a new company and do all the paperwork. Yay! Included in this paperwork is a recommendation letter from some office thingy in Korea. And that takes a week to make, which means I would have to have all of my papers ready and send them in, and then they would take a week to give me that paper, and then I would have to take that paper and everything, to renew my visa. So we did not have a lot of time. And at this point I was kind of like, honestly, just like a 3-month C4 visa would be okay because I was getting offered for E6s when, I told other agencies that, oh yeah, I might have to leave the country. A lot of people offered and they were like, oh, well, we'll sign you. But then the problem was they wanted obviously a longer contract than less than a year. Which I didn't want. I wasn't gonna stay in Korea for 2 to 5 more years. That wasn't no. I had my mind set on going home and that's what I wanted to do. So I turned down a lot of companies that I had worked with before. I really liked them, but again, I wouldn't want to be signed with them for that long. But then my savior came. A company that I have worked with a lot. They're actually not an entertainment company, but they are in the entertainment business. I have done a lot of shoots with them, and they wanted to keep me in the country because they wanted to use me again for other things. So they offered to give me a visa, even though that's not usually what they do, but they were like, no, we want to keep using you, so we can give you a C4, which is a 3-month working visa. Also, if all the visa talk is making you confused, we have a video about that. I'll link it somewhere. Sorry, self-promo. But yeah, so they offered to give me a 3-month visa and I was like, perfect, I'll have 3 months to pack up my stuff and mentally prepare to go back to Sweden instead of a week. Like I just came back. I didn't really want to spend 2 weeks stressing out in Korea and then go back home. That didn't really seem fun, I guess. With this new company, we decided that I would leave for Japan on the Sunday of like the coming week. That was the last day of my visa, and obviously if I would have stayed longer, then that would have been illegal because my visa would have expired and I would be staying illegally without a visa. And since I was changing visa types, I would have to go to Japan. I couldn't just change that in the country. The problem though was that since this isn't an entertainment company, they had no idea about visas. So they basically said, you get the paperwork done and we'll sign, and then you can go to Japan with your papers and hand them in and get a visa. Yay, everyone's happy. And I was like, okay, sure, that seems fair enough. Like you're sacrificing yourselves for me. Again, like they don't really do this, but they liked me, so they wanted to help. I am forever thankful to them. We love them forever and we're forever grateful to them. But the story doesn't end here. Damn it! I just want to finish this video right here and just be like, and that's why I didn't leave Korea anyways. But that's not the reality, is it? I got rejected by the first company on a Wednesday, which means I had 7 days to get all the papers with the new company done. And as it turns out, their big boss was in China for a video shoot. Basically, it's hard to sign papers in Korea when you are in China. So I figured, okay, I have like Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday to get all the papers like perfectly prepared. Monday morning when he gets back, we're gonna sign all the papers and I will send in the recommendation letter stuff and I'll get it all by Friday, and then when I go to Japan on Sunday, I can hand in the papers Monday morning, I get my visa on Friday, and I come back to Korea on Saturday. Cool. No. So basically, we called the recommendation letter people because obviously we don't know what you need, and like their homepage is kind of like it's not very clear. So we had them like walk us through each step and like download this document, fill it in like this, you write this in this little space thing. I'm sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm already mad about the end of this story. We're not there yet. We're not mad yet.
I'm frustrated, but not mad. Not yet.
We're a bit stressed out. We're getting through this for now. Damn it. We fill out all the papers, and Monday when the boss comes back, oh no, actually he came back Tuesday. So Tuesday when he came back from China, he signed all the papers. He was like, yeah, it looks great. I go to the post office, I send it off. Even though it's Tuesday, we had called them and we were like, hey, so we need these papers by Friday. So could you please, stamp the paper real quick so I have it by Sunday? And they were like, yeah, we'll see what we can do, but we can make no promises, blah, blah. And we're like, whatever. Just please hurry up. And worst case scenario, because they will send the thingy by email, I could just print it in Japan. Worst case scenario. So yeah, we were like, it's actually gonna work out. I'm so excited. Wednesday morning, I get a message from the post delivery thing saying, yep, your mail thingy was delivered and it has been done. And I was like, okay, cool. Now I'm just gonna wait for the text from the office saying that they indeed started processing my papers, but there came no such text. So I was like, okay, it's Wednesday afternoon and I need these papers by preferably Friday. I'm getting a bit stressed out because it's supposed to take 5 days to do this. Why didn't they start doing the papers? Or maybe they did, they just forgot to tell me. So we had a male coworker at the office call. As it turns out, the only guy in the entire world with the power to stamp these papers was on vacation until Monday.
Is it safe to say we're getting a little bit mad?
A bit mad, yes. We've been calling these guys for hours the previous day, saying it's urgent, we need this done by Friday, and they're like, yeah, we'll see what we can do. We call Wednesday, and this time it's a Korean man calling. Suddenly, oh yeah, that guy isn't here. I'm like, why did you not tell us this yesterday? Why? Why did you not tell me this yesterday when I called. Well, I guess I'm gonna have to go to Japan without my paper, and hopefully the guy can just stamp the paper right away on Monday. The visa process is supposed to be 5 days, so I was hoping I could hand in my papers Monday and then get my visa by Friday. Worst case scenario, I would have to extend my trip in Japan, but obviously I didn't want to because that costs money. Best case scenario, I can get my papers Monday. Worst case scenario, I can get my papers Friday, and I would have to stay 1 extra week in Japan so I could apply for my visa the following Monday. Okay, we're getting a bit annoyed, right? Like this isn't really working. So Sunday I take my papers that I do have for the visa application, and I fly to Japan. Woo! I arrive in Japan, I live at my friend's house, everything's fine. Monday morning I go to the embassy in Tokyo, because even though I'm missing 1 paper, my friend did go to the exact same embassy a few months earlier, and they still took the papers that she had because she had the same problem. She was waiting for the recommendation letter. So they said that, yeah, we'll take your papers and start the process, and then as long as you hand in the missing paper by the end of this week, you can get your visa, this week. So I was like, cool, I'll just see if they can do that for me. Again, maybe they can't, but at least I'll try. Of course, I'll try. I go there, and here's the thing. There's a small difference in how this was treated. When my friend did this, it was the Korean woman taking her papers and, doing her processing. I got a man, and I say, hey, here are my papers, and he says, you're missing 1. And I say, oh yes, I know, so this is what happened, and I tell him the story all in Korean, like he has no reason to not understand what I'm telling him. I tell him the story about how the guy's on vacation, I will get the paper soon, blah 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 blah, and my friend did this before, it worked fine. No. Okay, but my friend did it here, in this room. No, we don't do that here. Leave. Okay, thanks for trying. So I take my stuff and I leave. And as I'm leaving, I call the people in my office, in my company, and I tell them, yeah, it didn't work. Can you call the recommendation letter people and see if they can get this done by today? Because then I can come back tomorrow with my letter, and they might still be able to make my visa by Friday. Because my plane back to Korea is on Saturday. So that'd be kind of nice if I didn't have to change flights and stuff, annoying things. And they're like, sure, we'll call, hold on. And maybe 2 or 3 hours later, they call me back. They're like, we are so sorry. We have been fighting with this guy for hours. What happened was, yeah, so Stampy guy is back. Did he want to stamp my papers? No, he did not. Because apparently, we sent in the wrong papers. Even though we had this one guy walk us through the home page, download this paper, fill this in this section, write this, step by step. Somehow, that was still wrong. I don't know how this happened, but that's what happened. Here's the thing. I can't send in new papers for this because I am in Japan. He had been fighting with them, again, for hours. And he was like, why the hell did you send her to Japan without the paper? And they were like, because if she would have stayed in Korea for even 1 more day, that would have been a crime. She had to leave. Why weren't you at work? I'm so grateful for this company. Again, they fought so hard for me. Thank you so much if you ever see this video. Thank you for trying. So now I had the option either go back to Korea and file for the recommendation letter again and then go back to Japan again and apply for the visa, or I could just enjoy my remaining 4 days in Japan and then go back to Korea as a tourist. Since I didn't feel like fighting more with all these Korean men obviously not wanting me in the country, I decided to just settle for a tourist visa, and I went back as planned. And my days ran out, and now I'm in Sweden. As I was entering Korea from Japan. The guy in the immigration booth thingy, he asked me, he was like, oh, so you're coming here to work? You have an E6, right? Like, we were talking, like, we had a conversation because there was no other people there, so we were just kind of talking in Korean. And he was like, yeah, so you're gonna be working on an E6, right? And I was like, no, I'm entering on a tourist visa. And he's like, why? And I'm like, well, I obviously didn't tell him the entire story, but I just told him that there was a lot of problem with the paperwork, and yeah, as you could see in my passport, my visa ran out and I had to leave and come back, so there was nothing I could do about it, and here I am in Sweden 3 months later. Yay! Shit happens. There's nothing you can do about it, I guess. Again, I could have chosen to go back and forth 5 times and like fight with everyone, and I just decided that it's not worth it for me. I was gonna go home anyways. I just ended up going home earlier. Meh. We good. Again, I am so thankful to that last company. They really tried their hardest to help me out, and in the end, it still didn't work. Again, I'm just thankful that someone actually tried, because I felt very unwanted for a while. It was just everything was wrong. But I think everything happens for a reason, and I am very happy being back in Sweden. I will return to Korea sometime next year, hopefully with a working visa. Hopefully with a working visa. If not, I'll just hang out, it's fine. But yeah, I'm in Sweden. I am with Silvia. This is Silvia. We're really excited to do this YouTube thing again.
Get back on that YouTube grind.
I leave. So yeah, thank you so much to all the people who have been watching our like Korea-centric content. We'll still make Korea content if people want to know things about our lives or our work or anything in Korea. But obviously, since we're not in Korea, there might not be a lot of new things happening around Korea or entertainment. Again, maybe next year. We'll see. But for now, I hope you just enjoy watching our faces. And if there's anything you want us to talk about, like literally anything, leave it down in the comments below. Like this video if you want to make me less sad. I'm gonna go now. Yeah. Bye!